Maverick, don't leave her. Don't leave your twin. All right, I would say go to Luke 9, right? But y'all know it already, all right? You should go ahead to Luke 18. I'm going to tell you Luke 9:51 one more time so we get it right, so we know the context that we're talking about. Jesus was observed to have set his face towards Jerusalem, resolutely, strongly setting his face. Somebody saw it. Somebody told Luke, you should have seen his face. And he sent himself to Jerusalem. Why? To die. For who? For me. Why? Because I desperately needed that. Nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. When you really boil down this life, nothing else matters. The peace that we have through that sacrifice, the peace that we have with God, nothing can replace it. That's why the health and wealth prosperity gospel thing is so insidious. Because it says if you can get your bills paid and if you can get a clean bill of health, everything's good. No, it's not. You're still going to hell. So have a wonderful 80 years or 50 years or 60 years, but eternity's going to be a really long time. You need to find that peace with God, and that's what Christ was doing. So he picks up here in Luke 18. Y'all with me? In Luke 18, verse 31, let me get there. He says this, then he took the 12 aside and told them, listen, we are going up to Jerusalem, in case you weren't aware, all right? I've set my face. We're heading to Jerusalem. I'm going to die. We're going up to Jerusalem. Everything that is written through the prophets about the Son of Man will be accomplished. For he will be handed over to the Gentiles. He will be mocked, insulted, spit on. How's he doing so far? Is that a good prediction? Is he being specific enough? All right. And after they flog him, they will kill him, and he will rise on the third day. Now, how much of that did they hear? It's like it didn't hear it at all right? Because look what the next line. They understood none of these things. All right, now, it would give the disciples a hard time, right? Look at the next. This saying, or this declaration, was hidden from them, and they did not grasp what was said. All right? Because what if they had? What if they had grasped it? What if they went, oh my goodness, this is really going to happen? I mean, the killing part, and the flogging part, and all this is being spit on, and all this stuff. What might they have been tempted to do? Step in. I mean, Peter does this at one point. He says, no, Jesus says, I'm going to die, all right? This is the first time he predicted this. And Peter steps in and goes, oh, no. You don't understand, Jesus. You're the Messiah. You're not going to die. And Jesus goes, oh, that's right, I forgot. No. He says what? Get behind me, Satan, because where was Peter? Peter was trying to lead the parade, not follow. And so he was blinded. They didn't understand all this. Why? Because what if they had? It wouldn't have just been Peter out front. Who else would it have been? James, John, everybody else. Imagine the sons of thunder trying to prevent this, okay? So we can't let this happen. So they were blinded. Again, I always like to ask the question, how many people were at the tomb on the third day? Waiting. Streamers, banner, welcome home, got the sparklers and all this stuff. Nobody, literally nobody. No one believed that that's what was going to happen. It's not that they were unbelievers. It's just they didn't believe that that would happen. They believed what? What did the Emmaus boys believe? They're walking home. Game over. We thought it was going to be this. Totally different story, all right? So they were blinded. So again, he's heading there. He knows what he's doing. He's got to hide this, and then he'll reveal it, okay? Keep going with the text, because this is when it gets fun. Love the story of Bartimaeus. One of my all-time favorite stories, okay? So I'll see if I can do it, teach it in 30 minutes or less. Can I do it? No, y'all know me better than this, but I'll try. All right, let's go. As he drew near Jericho, okay? And what happened with Jericho, Old Testament? And the walls came tumbling down, okay? Rebuilt, all right? Whole story right there, all right? He's drawing near to Jericho. Now, in the other Gospels, we have sort of conflicting stories. Some say he's drawing near, some say he's leaving. He was close, okay? Let's just give it to that, okay? Drawing near to Jericho, a blind man was sitting by the road begging, okay? Now, we have his name in Mark's gospel, which is told through the eyes of whom? Who Mark writes his gospel. Thank you. Peter is telling Mark, all right, they're in Rome together around 60 AD. We believe Peter is kind of dictating this or telling the story to Mark, and Mark's writing it down, okay? So when you read Mark, again, read Mark to get stories, all right? And Mark tells us this guy's name was Bartimaeus, okay? Now, that's not necessarily a name as much it is a description of somebody. Anybody have the last name with S-O-N at the end of their name? Like Johnson, Henderson, okay? This is all this is. Bar is son, okay? So Bartimaeus means son of Timaeus. Timaeus is a Greek word that means value, okay? So when we see this, we have a blind beggar sitting beside the road whose name or whose sort of last name is Bartimaeus, the son of someone of great value. Now explain that one to me. How is the son of someone of great value? If this is a legit sort of literal name here, why is the son of someone of great value sitting beside the road begging? Shouldn't he be at home? Shouldn't he be at home being taken care of? A lot of people say, anytime there was a beggar or a blind person, they were just cast aside. Even the family would cast them aside. I don't necessarily buy that, but here's what I know. There's a man whose dad's name or description maybe is Timaeus, value, and he's sitting beside the road begging, which means what has his family done? Why? Who's turned away from him? Maybe his whole family has turned away from him, and he's sitting beside the road begging. Now, describe this person. I want you to just think. Let's do a little exercise here. This guy's sitting beside the road. What does he look like? So he's sitting here. Tell me what he looks like. What? Raggedy. Okay. His clothes? What's his appearance like? What are his clothes like? Come on. This is not your typical church, okay? All right, you're allowed to talk back. You're even allowed to ask questions, by the way, in case anybody needs to have that reminder. All right, what else? Smelled? Yeah. I don't think he's daisy fresh, okay? What else? Stained? Clothes are stained? What else? What's his posture? Slumped over? What? Broken? Yeah. Does he have any hope? What's tomorrow going to be? And what's the next day going to be? Until what? He just dies. Imagine being put beside the road. Now, when you're sit beside the road, what tends to cake onto you? Anything that flies by. All right? So I want you to get a good picture of him. He's begging, so how does he collect these alms? How does he collect these things? A lot of people believe he would take his outer garment. It's called the himation, all right? Cloak, coat, these are words that's translated. And they would take that cloak off and they would lay it in their lap. And so as people walk by, they would simply throw money into this cloak, all right? And it would just collect there. He didn't have like a can or whatever, all right? They would throw it into that cloak. So he would sit beside the road and it would just collect in this, okay? So I really want you to get a picture of him in your head, okay? So as he drew near Jericho, a blind man was sitting by the road begging. Hearing a crowd passing by, he inquired what this might be, okay? Some of your translations may say what it meant. That's not a good translation. It's just the word to be. What is this? What's going on, all right? Now, wouldn't you be curious? A blind person, how attuned is their hearing? Yeah, because what? You compensate, right? So he processes the world through what? Through what he hears, all right? And so he's hearing something, and this isn't normal. It's not Tuesday in Jericho, all right? This is something different. And so he asks, I don't know who he asks, all right? John Piper has a great poem. He talks about the friendship between Bartimaeus and Zacchaeus. Isn't that a cool concept? Why? Because who's going to hang out with the blind beggar? No one's going to spend. Who's going to hang out with the rich tax collector? Put these two together. Isn't that a cool picture? It's a great poem by John Piper. You can read it later. So he asks, what's going on? Jesus the Nazarene is passing by, they told him. Now imagine what's going through the mind of Bartimaeus at this point. Now, I don't know how he connects the dots. We don't know. We don't have anything other than he's told Jesus the Nazarene is passing by. And in the next sentence, he starts crying out, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. Okay? Now, he puts this together somehow. He puts something together with Jesus the Nazarene and Son of David. All right? This is a messianic title. Okay? He is the Christ. This blind guy on the side of the road in Jericho is saying, this is the Christ. All right? And he says, have mercy on me. Now, how is he putting all this together? When Jesus, early on in his ministry, and this is in Luke 4, you can look it up later. In Luke 4, Jesus goes to Nazareth. How does that go? How does that little interaction go? He goes into Nazareth, he goes into the synagogue, and on a Sabbath day, he reads from a scroll, from the scroll of Isaiah, and we know it to be Isaiah 61. He reads a scroll, and he says, today, the Spirit of the Lord is on you. All right? And I have been anointed, Mashiach, the Messiah. All right, that's what that means. I've been anointed to preach the good news to the poor, to preach liberty to the captives, to heal or to bind up the brokenhearted, and to give recovery of sight to the... Now, how does he connect those dots? How does he know this Jesus? He's the Isaiah 61. He's the anointed one, the Mashiach, the Messiah. And the Messiah is going to be the Son of David. And when he comes, he will give sight to the blind. So I asked you earlier, did he have any hope? Did Bartimaeus have any hope? Or was it just going to be wake up, wake up, wake up, die? Did he have a hope? One. He had one hope. He had one hope that the Messiah was going to show up. He had one hope that the Isaiah 61 was going to show up. And I don't know how he connected the dots, and I don't know if he heard about what happened in Nazareth, but all I know is this guy showed up, and he's doing cool stuff, and he told this crowd in Nazareth, I'm here. And now he's walking right next to me. Now, what could he have done in this moment? Well, if he's the Messiah and he came to heal me, I'm just going to sit here and see if he heals me. Passively just sit back and just wait. Osmosis, he's just going to walk by and I'm going to start to see. You going to take that chance? He's walking by you. This is your one shot probably. The one shot he's going to walk by. Do you just sit there passively? I wouldn't. I'm with Bart on this one. I'm yelling like crazy. So what does he do? Look at the text. 38. So he called out. Does anybody have a different word for called out? What is it? Shouted? Any other different? Cried? Okay. This misses the point. All right. The word for cry out is the word krazo. We get our word crazy from this. Somebody that's crazy cries out, just screams, yells. Or called out, like Court went to this program, kaleo, means to call someone. We get our word, kaleo, call. All right, you see that? All right. This is the word boeo. All right. Boeo is a very specific thing. When you are in trouble, when you are in danger, when you are in pain, when you are in some need of comfort, need of mercy, you boeo, you plead for someone. You call 911. This is boeo. All right? When God appears to Cain, he says, the blood of your brother Abel cries out to me, boeo. All right? Potiphar's wife when she's making up the whole story about Joseph, says, I screamed out for help when Joseph tried to have his way with me. Same word, boeo, all right? And Lord, this is me. When Moses had the frogs show up, he cried out to the Lord, because ain't nobody like frogs. I'm sitting here writing this up last night. I turn around, look at the window. Our back door is just all glass, sort of. Big old frog just sitting there looking at me. I'm going, oh, boa-a-o. Lord, deliver me from that frog, all right? And then the little bugs get next to the window, and he's just sitting there going, just eat, yeah. Boeo, God, save me from this. I'm pleading with you. This is what he says. I'm pleading with you. So he called out, Boeo, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. Now, there's something in Jesus that goes, did he just call me Son of David? But he keeps walking. Because he hears it, and he's like, there's only one other person that's called me that. And it was a Syro-Phoenician woman, not even a Jew, that recognized I'm the Messiah. And I think he hears that, and he kind of goes, I'm going to keep walking, but I'm going to keep listening, all right? So Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. Then those in front told him to keep quiet. Literally, the text says they rebuked him into silence, or rebuked him to silence, all right? Which is an interesting little play on words, because the son of Timaeus was epi-Timaeus, turned out to be told he was of no value and that he should keep quiet. All right? Just an interesting play on words right there. All right? Told him to be quiet. So he did. He slumped back. He crawled back into his shell and said, I'm not worthy. No, he didn't. Good. Thank you, Jeannie. I appreciate that. No, he didn't. And you know what? I would love to say that about you, but I know it's not true. Because how many times do you crawl back in your shell? You had this moment where you stepped out and you're like, that's it, I'm doing it. I'm going to be this person. Somebody goes, don't you remember who you are? Don't you remember what you did? And what happens? All right. You need to identify the people in front in your life who tell you you're no value and you need to be quiet. You need to identify them very quickly, because God is sitting there going, come on, move beyond who you were, move beyond what everyone thinks of you, move beyond those moments of failure in your life, and keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. And don't slink back, and don't listen to those people. Don't listen to the people who tell you you are of no value. And until you identify them, you're going to keep listening to them. And you need to identify and go, you know what? You're a person in my life that keeps holding me back from being something that I need to be. And I'm going to have to remove you from my life. You know, there's an unfollow button on Facebook. So if you have that person on your Facebook feed that just constantly negative, it's real quick. 2 clicks, they're gone. All right? It's amazing how that works. Twitter, just get off Twitter. All right? Period. All right? Well, they say Twitter's like Fight Club for people who don't like to get punched in the face. All right? You don't need that negativity. TikTok, don't even get me started. That Chinese stuff, don't even get me started. All right? But identify these people. Please, please, because they are holding you back from what God knows you can be. All right? What does he do? All the more. Yells out even louder. All right? But he kept crying out, krazo, crazy. He starts crazy crying out. All right? This is that point where everybody looks at you and goes, ain't no stopping him now. All right? You can say all you want. You ain't stopping him. That's an awesome place to be. When the world knows they can't control you anymore and you don't care what they think, now you're going to do something beautiful for the kingdom. But when you have that holding you back, when those people in front can hold you back, you're never going to do anything amazing. Don't let him hold you back. So he kept crying out all the more. He got crazy on this. Son of David, have mercy on me. And look at the next two words, verse 40. What does yours say? Jesus does what? What does 9:51 say? 9:51 says, come on, people, we've done this 400 times now. Jesus does what? Set his face resolutely toward Jerusalem. I'm going. You ain't stopping me. Nothing's stopping me. Jesus stopped. This is the only time in the Gospels those words are put together. When he's resolutely on his way to the cross to die for you and for me, some blind guy in a town 20 miles away says, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. And I think there was some, whoa, he just called me Son of David. I like this. The compassion starts to well up because he knows it's a beggar. And everybody's telling him, stop. And he goes, going on, yelling louder. You ain't going to stop me. I'm not going to listen to you who are holding me back away from my Christ, my Messiah, the one who can give me recovery of sight to my blindness, who can open the prison doors to me and let me out of all of this. You're not stopping me. And I think when Jesus heard that is when he stopped. That's when he stops and responds. That's when he stops and says, all right, this guy's not just one and done. Guy's not, you know what, I'll yell at him once, and if it works out, great. If it doesn't, no. This guy's all in. And Jesus turns and says, hey, somebody bring him over here. Because he's blind, right? Doesn't say, hey, you, come over here. No, over here. Over here. Warmer. All right? No, somebody bring him over here. Now, you got to go to Mark to get the rest of the story right here, okay? Because Peter tells it, right? And Peter was there, okay? And Peter watched this. So it's something amazing is going to happen. You got to go to Mark to get the details, okay? So he says, come over here. Somebody next to Bartimaeus goes, have courage. Buck up, little buddy. He's calling you. Here's where you got to actually think when you read the Bible. Because Bartimaeus is sitting beside the road. And where's his coat? Again, you got to think, right? Y'all with me? Y'all thinking? Where is his coat? In his lap. What's in his coat? Any of the alms he's collected that day. Jesus walks by. He starts screaming out, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. Jesus, Son of... Shh, quiet, hush. Nobody wants to hear from you. Oh, I don't care what you think. Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. Jesus gets a little bit down the road and says, hey, somebody bring that guy over here. I like this guy. Stops on his way to the cross. Stops. Bring him over here. They go, hey, man, have courage. He's calling you. Now, if I were there and I'm blind and I have my coat with my alms in here, I take my coat, I put it under my arm, and I walk to Jesus. Why? That's not what Bartimaeus does. What does Bartimaeus do when he gets word Jesus, the Messiah, is calling you? What does he do with his coat? The most valuable possession he has. You can understand, in the Old Testament, if you took someone's coat as sort of a down payment or a security bond, you had to give it back to them that night. That's how valuable it was. And God said, if you keep it overnight, I'm going to mess you up. So give the poor people their coat back at night. So he's got all of these alms, whatever he's collected, his whole life. I mean, this is his blanket, sleeping bag, coat, garment, house, whatever it is. This is the most valuable thing he owns. And he's blind, right? So what's the last thing you want to do in this moment with your coat? Throw it. You're blind. Now what do? Not only does the money go everywhere, but your coat goes where? You don't know. Why? Because you're blind. All right? It's like Scooby-Doo, the girl looking for her glasses all the time. Y'all with me? All right? You throw this, you're done. But what does he do? Have courage, little buddy. He's calling you. Throws his coat away. It's literally the word apoballo. Ballo means to throw. We get our ball from it, all right, or ballistic, all right? Apo, throw it away. He takes it and slings it. What's a blind guy supposed to do now? His most valuable possession is where? He don't know. It's gone. All that money, gone. He jumps up and comes to Jesus. I love what Court was saying. That a lot of these Christian kids went to Destin for a great experience. And you see, the difference between the beginning of the summer and the end of the summer for them was they went into the summer believing in Jesus. You with me? They believed in Jesus from a nice, comfortable position, all right? Even being a pastor's kid. Court believed in Jesus. He believed in all the things I've been telling him for 19 years. He's been a Christian for 19 years. That was pretty amazing, all right? But you know, we laugh. But you know what? I've been a Christian for 53 years. You know why? Because that's all I've ever believed. And I understand exactly what he's saying. But I had that moment for 14 years of my life where I believed in Jesus, but I didn't believe into Jesus. You see the difference? You can sit on the side of the road and say, yep, that's the Messiah. Yep, I believe he is the Messiah. And I'm just sitting beside the road. Or you can start screaming out, Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me. And now what have you done? And then he calls you and you do what with your coat? Now you're not believing in Jesus anymore. You're doing what? Into Jesus. Because where else are you going to go now? Bart, where are you going to go? You going to go back to your life? You going to go find your coat? Good luck. But do you see the difference here? And so many of us have grown up in the church, hearing the gospel, been Christian for 53 years, believing in Jesus, but we just won't let go enough to believe into him, to deny ourselves, to take up our cross and really follow him. Because that one coat thing, I just can't let go of this coat. I can't let go of this. I can't let go of this relationship. I can't let go of this job. I can't let go of whatever this material possession, this car. Are you kidding me? A car? A truck? Clothing? Popularity? That's what's going to hold you back from knowing and understanding and standing in front of Christ without anything holding you back. That's what he does. So this blind guy is standing before Christ, and he walks up, and Jesus says, what? What do you want me to do for you? What do you want me to do for you? You know what I love about that question? God asked the most wealthiest, powerful person ever on the planet the exact same question they asked the poorest beggar in Jericho. Who does he ask? Solomon, what you want? What do you want me to do for you? Bartimaeus, what do you want me to do for you? And I think Bartimaeus had sort of a moment. He goes, duh, I want to see. And Jesus goes, well, duh, see. And don't you love it? Because Bartimaeus is praying in this moment. Do you see this? What do you want? What do you want me to do? Well, I would love for world peace to reign and rule and for your glory to be known throughout the nations. No, Bart. What do you want me to do for you? Well, if I can be honest, please do. Because I know already. Just tell me what you want. You want to pray? You want to have a great prayer life? Just be honest. Be honest. And I always say, be selfish. God knows what you want anyway. Why not just tell him? I know I always say, just be honest. Say, God, I'm being selfish right now, but I'd just really like to see if you don't mind. Not a problem. He says, I want to recover my sight. I want to anablepo. And Jesus goes, anablepo, receive your sight. What is your greatest felt need? What is your greatest felt need? For Bartimaeus, right there in that moment, was what? I just want to see. I want to see. That was his greatest need. And he said, can I have that? And Jesus says, absolutely. And then he was able to see, and he never had any needs ever for the rest of his life, right? He received his sight, and he started to follow Jesus. Where? Look at the next chapter. Now we get a little Zacchaeus story, and then where are we? We're walking into Jerusalem for the triumphal entry. So if Bartimaeus is following Jesus, he's got about a week before he sees what? He sees the Messiah on that cross. Now what's his greatest felt need? Now does he understand? I wanted to see, but I needed salvation. And I love that Jesus says, receive your sight. Your faith has saved you. And immediately he could see, and he started following Christ. And what was the experience of being able to see for Bartimaeus? Can you describe the joy of this moment? Can you imagine being able to see? And was that his greatest felt need? Congratulations, you can see. You're going to live for 30, 40 more years, and then you're going to die, and you're going to be separated from me for all eternity. Because your greatest felt need was not to see. It was to be at peace with God. So what did God allow Bartimaeus to see? You see, the seeing was just the mechanism by which he could understand his salvation. It wasn't the end. So he allows him to see. He follows him to Jerusalem, and he sees Jesus die on the cross. Why? Because Bartimaeus desperately needed. He didn't need to see. He needed peace with God. I wonder what brought him more joy. I wonder what brings you more joy. Some of us get excited because we get a new job. We get excited because, the credit card gets paid off. We get excited about these earthly, trivial things. How many of you wake up in the morning, renew your mind to the salvation you have in Christ, and you have this goofy smile on your face the rest of the day? Because the joy of your salvation overwhelms anything and everything you could encounter that day. And I would dare say, if it doesn't, you're not a Christian. You believe in Jesus. You have this theological thing, this church thing, this cultural thing that where you believe in Jesus. But I tell you this, you have never believed into Jesus. You've never thrown off everything, abandoned yourself to this, and the joy of your salvation overwhelms your every breath. That's what it means to be a Christian. The believing in is what it means to be a church attender. And I'm begging you, recognize the beauty and the joy of the salvation you have when you step into Christ. You step into this life and truly follow him. Now describe that kind of joy. Not I can see for another 40, 50 years, but I have peace with God for all eternity. Choose your joy. Let's pray. Father, don't let us be entertained by simple, trivial things.